What have you learned to fear?
What am I afraid of? What have I learned to fear, or what am I afraid of?
My personal belief is that fears are learned. We learn how to fear things. We don't just fear things. We have to have some experience with them in order to fear them, which I think is a learned response. So what do you think
I
you've
learned to fear? I fear rejection. Yeah. I've learnt that through having a boyfriend that we broke up a number of times within our relationship, so I fear rejection. I fear disrespect in that, you know, that's why I'm always striving to do things the right way for other people as well as for myself. I don't fear losing. I don't like losing. I always said I didn't like losing, but I wasn't a bad loser, so I wouldn't like throw things. Once or twice I might have, but you know, not all the time. I was a learning loser. Yeah. If that makes sense. Learn from it. Yeah. So I'm not really afraid of losing. I guess I'm more afraid of losing the lesson. You know, not knowing why. You know, yeah. So if we'd lost a match or something happened, well, why did that happen? That's what I'm afraid of, not learning from it. So that always drove me to work out how to make it better. I would never jump out of a plane. Like I could be challenged, and I love a challenge, but I figure, look, that just is physically, I don't need to be physically challenged. I've done enough stuff like that. I've trapezed with a circus, and I've driven a car at like 210 kilometres or 20 kilometres an hour around a track at the Grand Prix, you know, for the celebrity race. I've done stuff like that, which has really pushed me to my limits. I've walked on fire and broken glass, and I just think I don't really need to jump out of a plane anymore.
Fair enough.
I fear being physically injured. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I could ever have played if I was well, you can as a female play rugby and football. I would never play a physically demanding game like that where you can be bashed by other people. Yeah. I fear being physically injured, maybe because I've had so many injuries. I'm a bit wary of that.
Maybe also because you've got a child now as well, that there's something greater to protect.
Okay, so if you bring him into it, I totally physically feel fear when I see he's just about to fall. Yeah. Or when I see he might hurt himself with something, and I have almost like this picture in my mind of him falling. I'm like, oh, he's on that stair, and I almost see him falling, and I feel this physical reaction inside of me. It's like a shudder of like, but he hasn't done it.
Dread.
Yeah, I can feel it physically, and I feel it still every single day when I watch him. So I physically feel the fear for him, but he doesn't have any. He's fearless at that age. They all are. So I'm always like, oh. And he doesn't go downstairs backwards. He goes down them head first.
Forwards, of course.
Yeah, I just have to let him do it.
Right.
I have to let him experience it. And I find that hard. And you mentioned control, and I like to be in control of myself and even my team. And because I am 10 years older than Natalie Cook that I played with, so I was always in that role where I was taking more control in most situations, initially anyway. But yeah, I have to learn to just let him go and just let him fall.
What kind of dialogue do you think you'll need to be saying in your own head in order to actually make that happen?
I guess I'll help him at first and show him this is how you do it, and then you just have to let him learn. And I have to pull back when I'm coaching others in volleyball as well. I have to learn to pull back a little and say, okay, this is the situation, away you go, instead of saying this is the situation and this is the answer. Because I like to give them the answer, but sometimes I'm like, oh, zip it, don't give them the answer, let them work it out.
Yeah.
So same goes with my son as I'm bringing him up, and you know, in any situation as a coach or even, you know, speaking to people, this is the situation. You've got to work it out, because then you'll learn the lesson. Yeah.
What are some of the other great qualities of coaches that you've worked with before?
Being tough, I think, and not caring whether their players like them or not. You know, I remember my coach saying exactly that. I'm not here to be your friend. Very early on, indoor volleyball coach, I'm here to like make you the best volleyball player you can be. When, you know, we might get a bit shirty at the way she was, you know, getting us to do things we didn't want to do, and that might have hurt and been difficult. So you know, having that sort of strength to go, no, it doesn't matter if my players don't like me, I'm just going to get the best out of them. I think it's important that the players respect them. And often you see most coaches have been players themselves, so that can help develop that respect. But there are also coaches that have never been players, but they just have developed that respect in the way they treat people as well. Mm-hmm. Having good communication, caring, understanding, being compassionate, but on the other side being tough. Tough love.
Mm. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I've seen many interviews where you've talked about sort of the keys to success, and you believe that belief, passion and preparation are the three keys that could lead you to success. If you had a choice to have one more, what would you like to have?
Oh, you change my speaking structures now, because I say, you know, it starts with passion, then you've got to do all the hard work, preparation, and then in the end it's the belief that is the last ingredient. If there was one, I mean, there's just so many little things and they can sort of all fall within those three categories in my mind, but lately I've really noticed that resilience is something that successful people need to be good at. And it's because of all the hardships that Australians are feeling with the cyclones and the floods and the this and the that. And, you know, Queensland's been saying how they're fighting back. It doesn't matter what, you know, the earth throws at us. We're Queenslanders and we're resilient and we'll fight back. And it's made me think that resilience is huge in terms of just, for some people, just to get through their life, you know, but also sort of if you look at the highly successful people in any area, they've had to be resilient to get through all the knocks, you know, because there's no easy ride to the top. There's so many knocks and pitfalls and hurdles and, you know, so they just have to be so resilient and just pick themselves back up again and get back on the horse. So I might add that one in. Thanks.
Fair enough. Go for it. You've got licence. Over the course of your life, whole life, not just sporting life and now as a mother, but how would you describe the pace that you've operated at? And I'm imagining that that's probably changed throughout those periods, but overall, describe your pace to me.
My pace is probably quite demanding of myself. Like I demand a lot of myself. But on the other hand, I can be lazy, so I can totally switch the dial from one end to the other. I can be on zero and lie on the couch and do nothing, and I can do that quite happily for 2 hours. Yeah. But only if I feel like I've had the dial up and I've achieved a lot just beforehand. Yeah. It's like I'm entitled to. I've got to slow down. So I guess I have always had a really good balance. I've never been one or the other. I've done a little bit of, you know, being lazy, and I've done a little bit of fully just going for it 100%. So it depends on what I've got going on. If I have an important event that I have to prepare for and get other people organised to help me with, then I'll just go 100 miles an hour to get it done. And I like to be organised early, I don't like to be late, all those sorts of things, you know, typical perfectionist. But then after the event, once everything's been tidied, everyone's been paid, bills are done, everything's put away, I can lie on the couch and turn that dial to zero.
So would you consider a reward to be at zero?
Yeah. Or somewhere a little, you know, one or two or three, going on a holiday to Fiji
Definitely
with my family
5.
or something. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can't put that dial to that number until I've completed what I have to complete. I describe it like being an artist. I need to have a blank canvas, so I need to have everything finished around me to be able to focus on the next thing. So going from that zero, okay, I've got another project now, I need to crank that dial, but I still need to make sure everything around me is in its place and done and finished off before I can go on to the next thing.
When are you at peace?
When I'm sleeping? No, that's not true. When I'm not all true. Yes, I'm at peace when I'm asleep. Yeah. Most of us are. I would say when my family is laughing, because I know that everything's great. If my husband's laughing and my son's laughing, it makes me laugh. because I don't think I laugh enough in life. I think, and I've always surrounded myself with happy, outgoing people because I think that's the missing ingredient sometimes that I have. And I look at all my best friends and they are all such bright, happy, and my husband, amazingly bubbly, funny people. And I'm sort of the more serious one. So I've always, just subconsciously again, I've surrounded myself with people that will bring that out in me. So yeah, that makes me feel at peace when everyone's laughing and happy.
What stops you from laughing?
I guess I just get too focused on something and I get too serious about it, and I'm just like, got to do that because of all my other traits of being a perfectionist and, you know, wanting to be the best at what I'm doing and wanting to succeed and achieve and all that, and I get very serious, and that kind of just overwhelms, you know. It's not that I don't want to laugh. I love laughing, otherwise I wouldn't surround myself with those people. But I need those people to give me the balance because I'm so focused when I decide to do something, I'm so focused on it that if I don't have those people around me, I'd just explode, I think, eventually. So having all that fun and laughter and whatever around me gives me the balance so I can have the best of both worlds.